So today I've been tapping and scratching on a compilation of Tom Stoppard plays. I really love Tom Stoppard. I think he's an incredible playwright. And Arcadia is part of this anthology, and it's one of my favorite plays ever. And I love, too, that on the cover of the anthology there's a Magritte painting, which I also really like Magritte, so it's a great combination of favorite artist, favorite playwright. Well, I don't know if Stoppard's my favorite playwright, but definitely one of them. I apologize if you hear the airplanes and pigeons outside of my room right now. Living in New York City can be very noisy. So, they're all part of the package, but apologies if they're annoying. So I was flipping through earlier this anthology, and I was trying to find this monologue that I did when I was in college. The assignment for this particular class exercise was to find a character that you would never play in a million years. And since I'm already older than 13, I thought that I would never get a chance to play Thomasina, who's one of the main characters in Arcadia. And the monologue that I did was in response to Thomasina's tutor telling her that they were going to do a lesson on Cleopatra, and I wanted to read this monologue to you. It's such a great monologue, and I did it with a British accent when I did it in class, but I think I'll spare you that today, because it's a little rusty. So I'll just read it to you, and I won't really act it. I just want to read you the text, because it's such a beautifully written play, and I think this monologue really sums up a lot of what the play is about. So she says, so this is where originally I read Thomasina Coverley's monologue about Cleopatra and the burning of the library at Alexandria in Arcadia. But it occurred to me that, maybe it wasn't super intelligent to read copyrighted material in a video that I intended to put on the internet. So, apologies. I do talk a little bit more about Arcadia and all that fun stuff in the later half of this, but I don't know, I think you can probably fill in the blanks. I mean, the basic gist of it is that the girl, Thomasina, is upset that she has to do a lesson on Cleopatra, and kind of goes on about how Cleopatra made a mockery of the female gender, and how, if Queen Elizabeth had been a Ptolemy, there would have been the Great Sphinx of Verona, and stuff like that, and, it would have been better to have had a rational, level-headed person in that position, as opposed to someone who would be swept up in romance and carnal embrace, as Thomasina says, like Cleopatra was, which kind of led to her downfall in Thomasina's eyes. And as a result, she goes on to talk about how the library at Alexandria was burned down, and how they lost all of these incredible ancient texts, these plays and poems and stories that you can never recover. And then Septimus very specifically, I think, about mathematics and science, which, I don't, well, spoiler alert, I'm gonna ruin the play for you, so if you plan on reading it, stop listening now. But, it's basically, you see not only these characters who are living in the 19th century, I don't know if you could pick that up from the word choice there in the monologue, but their scenes are sort of intermixed with modern day characters who are investigating and looking into the history of the estate in which these characters from the 19th century used to live. And it's sort of proved that Septimus's rebuttal about being able to find things that we've lost seems to hold true for the sciences of the world, but not quite so much for the artistic things, and not so much for the people in our lives. Once we lose them, they are lost. Not to be a Debbie Downer and make this into a really sad video, sorry. But here's the spoiler. So Thomasina winds up dying in a fire after Septimus has come to realize that he's in love with her. Not when she's 13, don't worry, it's not that creepy. But he sort of comes to this realization that he was wrong. Some things, when you lose them, they're gone forever. So it's just a really beautiful play, and just heart-wrenching. It's definitely one of my favorite Stoppard plays. I think I like it even more than Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, which is also a fantastic, amazing play. I really recommend Stoppard to anyone who wants to read or watch more theater. I'm trying to think of film stuff that he's done. The only thing that comes to mind is he actually wrote the screenplay to Shakespeare in Love, I think. I'm like 99% sure. Apologies if I'm wrong, I'll have to IMDb that after I stop recording this. So yeah, Stoppard. Fantastic playwright. I saw a Broadway revival of this play of Arcadia in 2011. It starred Raul Esparza, and Billy Crudup was in it. Actually, I went with friends who are really huge Raul Esparza fans, and they wanted to stage door after the show, meaning they wanted to wait outside the theater to see if they could catch Raul as he was leaving for, like, autographs and pictures and stuff. So, I don't really stage door that much, especially after living and working in the city and in the theater industry. I don't know, like, I don't tend to bother with that kind of stuff, but at this point in time, I said, yeah, sure, I'll stay with you, to my friends. And it was so funny. Billy Crudup came out, and he came right up to us and asked if we wanted pictures taken with him. And so I said, sure, and I didn't even really know him from anything. I mean, I think I saw Big Fish when I was younger, but I don't know, it was just really funny, because usually it's the other way around, but he was like, hey, let's take pictures and hang out and chat. And he was telling us how he was in another Broadway production of Arcadia playing Septimus. In this one he played, oh god, who did he play? Valentine, I think. I can't remember. It's been a while, and I have a terrible memory, but I guess he played Septimus in this earlier production. I think it was like in 97 or something, in the late 90s. he was telling us all about it, and it was just really funny. I've never had that experience of somebody who was like starring in a Broadway play who wanted to just go out and talk to the fans so readily without being approached first. And I think it might have had something to do with the fact that, you know, if you've been doing a lot of film and TV work and stuff, or at least film, I don't know how much TV he's done, but when you do that kind of stuff, there's no immediate gratification of getting an audience's applause or laughter or silence or tears or whatever. There's no immediate feedback like there is in theater. So I think for actors who haven't really had much of that, to suddenly have a lot of it is probably a really awesome experience. So that's my that is my Arcadia talk. What else is in this anthology? This is so bad. I've had this anthology for years, and I've only read Arcadia and The Real Thing. Actually, there's a production of The Real Thing coming to Broadway next season with Ewan McGregor. Is going to be in that, so if you're a Ewan McGregor fan and you're coming to New York in 2015 or late in this year, I can't remember when it goes up. Google it. Oh, magic of the internet. But The Real Thing is also a great play. It's got a really great monologue about the importance of craft. It's the famous, well, if you're a theater person, if you like Stoppard, I guess it's famous to you. I don't know how famous it is outside of those circles, but there's this monologue that the main character has about cricket bats and how a well-crafted play is like a well-crafted cricket bat. Probably a more useful analogy if you're British, I would imagine, but still perfectly understandable if you're from any other place in the world. comments or send me a message or something, and if this is totally boring, I could find something else to talk about. But if you actually like theater and want to hear more, also please let me know that. Or maybe I'll just keep rambling about this stuff anyway, because I think sometimes it's not so much the content and what you're saying, it's just the whispering that creates the effect. At least for me, I know that it doesn't really matter so much what somebody's talking about. It's just nice to hear the noises, which isn't to say I don't enjoy listening to certain people ramble on about things. I guess it just doesn't really matter so much to me. But I don't know, maybe it's different for you and other people. I don't know. Yeah. So this is